Hi there, my name is Natalie Bungay and I'm the Technical Director for Pestforce UK. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about pigeon control and what it means to be able to do that, how you can do that and when you can do that. So first things first, all birds in the UK are protected under the Wildlife and Countryside Act, and no matter what, they need to not be interfered with or harmed in any way, shape or form. That's all bird species, including feral pigeons. However, the legislation in different parts of the UK can vary ever so slightly in Scotland, England, Northern Ireland and Wales. But generally, under this piece of legislation, the Wildlife and Countryside Act, it allows professionals and authorised people to do certain pieces of work with certain bird species if they are causing certain problems. So for example, if you have feral pigeons that are nesting or roosting in an area that could be causing you a public health concern from their droppings or nesting material, then that is a reason why pest control for that pigeon population could be implemented. So it's really, really important to know really what area of the country that you live in the UK, which will dictate the legislation a little bit differently, but also what species it is, because there's a lot of species of birds that might cause us problems, such as sparrows and starlings, that predominantly, mostly, we can't deal with in any way, shape or form. And it's a case of leaving them alone, waiting until they leave, and then trying to prove those areas. Okay, so legislation is really, really, really important. Now, in terms of what the options are, so if we have feral pigeons and we know that they're causing a public health and safety risk, so therefore we know that we're legally allowed to do something to address that population. The first thing we'll do is seeing if we can move them on without any harm whatsoever. So removing the birds, scaring them away, taking their nests away, is all things that we can do to try and make sure that they vacate that area. If that's not possible, some culling and dispatching can happen, but it's always a last resort. It really is a last resort, and we'll always refer to the legislation as well. Now, when we move them on, it's really important then that we put measures in place to be able to stop it from happening again. This is not only a moral obligation, but it is a legal obligation also. We don't want to be moving pigeons on and disturbing them or dispatching them unnecessarily. So if it has to happen once, we then need to put measures in place to prevent those pigeons from coming back again. So it's a variety of different tools that we have. We have nets that can be put up to stop them from nesting or perching. We have spiking systems, which are just sort of forks, if you like, that kind of stick in the air and it stops the pigeons from being able to land, and wire systems and all sorts of things that we can put in place. It really depends whether it's on a ledge or a flat roof or an apex roof or under solar paneling. There's all these different options, okay? So survey is one of the most important things that needs to happen. Do remember, if you have pigeons and you've got a lot of fouling, pigeon droppings that are accumulating in areas where you're either residing or walking past regularly, or surfaces that you're touching, you really need to make sure that you're careful around that and that you're wearing gloves and you're not touching it or removing it yourself, because there's a lot of pathogens involved with any bird droppings really, but on this subject with feral pigeons, you can those spores that are in the air can obviously get into our lungs and cause issues, as well as through cuts and grazes and things like that. It can cause us unnecessary harm. So if you do have a large accumulation of droppings in an area that you feel is a public health risk, then give us a call and we can give you some advice on how to deal with that.